Does this sound like you? You need help, but you're not ready to take the leap and hire a full-time assistant. You're in that in-between stage. If that sounds like you, this video is one you need to watch. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Vanessa Rosenblum, president of Pro REA Staffing, where we are passionate about fostering careers in real estate and growing real estate teams. For help landing your dream job in real estate or growing your real estate team, make sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you can be notified every time we post a new video. Today we're talking about what to do between no assistant and a full-time assistant. And trust me, I get it. In the past 4 years, I've grown from 1 part-time assistant to 5 full-time employees. And yeah, it's a little bit scary every time you add someone to your payroll, and you want to do it with thought and care. And so if you're not ready to make the commitment to hiring someone full-time, you really have 3 options. You can hire a virtual assistant, a part-time on-site assistant, or you could share an assistant with someone else. And in this video, we're going to break down the pros and cons of each of those options. At Pro REA Staffing, we mostly place full-time direct hire placements, but we are also asked to find virtual, part-time, and shared assistants. So we've seen firsthand what works and what doesn't with these various options. So let's start by talking about virtual assistants. A virtual assistant is simply an assistant who is not physically in your office. They might be down the street or on the other side of the world. When you're just starting out and you're just starting to look for a little bit of help, finding a skilled marketing coordinator or transaction coordinator who can work for you virtually is a great place to start. If you don't know one within your sphere of influence, Upwork is a great resource for you. If you can just get your marketing piece handed off and have somebody who is skilled in marketing take that piece for you, you can create a lot of leverage from a rather small investment. Now, at some point, you might need to take on more of a generalist virtual assistant, and that's an option too. Again, Upwork might be a resource, but when you're ready to hire a part-time virtual assistant, the traditional advertising sources are good places to look as well. Now, let's talk about who should hire a virtual assistant and who shouldn't. If you don't have the physical space and you need help, obviously virtual works well. If you are organized and you have good systems in place and all of your resources are online already, you can work well with a virtual assistant. Where this falls apart is if you are not a good communicator, not a good delegator, and you're not organized. It's really hard for you to work successfully with a virtual assistant. So that's something to think about. Do you have what it takes to work well with a virtual assistant? The other thing to think about is the fact that just because they're virtual doesn't mean that you can call them an independent contractor. Now, this varies a bit from state to state, and as in most things, California is the most stringent. But if you have, the rules that apply to whether you can categorize someone as an independent contractor or an employee apply whether or not that person is in your office or not. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about part-time assistants. Now, we get this call a lot. Somebody calls and they say, I need help, but I don't need full-time help. Can you find me a part-time assistant who will grow into a full-time assistant on my team? And the sad reality is that the answer is probably no. If someone is looking for part-time work, they usually have or always have something else going on in their life that is more important. They might be in school, they might have another job, or be a parent, and that is going to bump up against your needs at some point. And the other thing to keep in mind is because there are just much fewer candidates looking for part-time work, you will probably have to make some compromises when it comes to their skills and experience. And therefore, the person who is a good fit for you on a part-time basis probably isn't the best fit for you when you're ready for a full-time, full-charge real estate assistant. Now, our last option is a shared assistant, and essentially this is a full-time employee who splits their time between 2 different employers. And this can work, but it is also wrought with potential pitfalls. The biggest is if one agent really gets along well with the assistant and they work well, and it turns out that the other agent doesn't work as well with the assistant, the one who is succeeding with the assistant is going to be left disappointed. You know, these two people need to have similar management styles, similar needs. They have to have good communication and good trust in order for this dynamic to work. It can be really hard for an assistant to split their allegiance between two agents, especially if both of those agents are very demanding. So keep that in mind. Typically, these shared assistant situations are rather short term. It's rare that it lasts more than a year, but that might be all you need. If you can get a great person for 20 hours a week and in 9 months you're ready for full time, then either you can arrange to hire that person full time or shift time, or find another solution with the person that you are sharing that assistant with. But just know that it's a challenging placement. Not everybody wants to be in that kind of situation, split between two agents. And it's the least likely solution to work out well in the long run. So there you have it. Those are the pros and cons of hiring a virtual assistant, a part-time assistant, or a shared assistant. After listening to the pros and cons, which of these options do you think is going to be the best for you? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, if you are ready to hire your assistant, I have a great resource for you. We have a free guide called How to Hire a World-Class Assistant. This essentially is our 10-step process to hiring assistants, and we're giving it to you for free. So click on the link in the description below and download that free report. And obviously, if we can help you with the search, we would love to, but we're here to support you even if you want to do it on your own. If you liked this video, please hit like and consider subscribing so that you're the first to know when we post a new video. I'll see you on the next one.